Alright guys, welcome back. Sorry to use the restroom super quick, but we're back here in game number 2 between Minato and Naama. Next to you guys, the favorite jumping into the game so you guys could see some cool stuff while I was gone. But here we are, game number 2. Remember, Fnatic is up 2-1. If Naama wins this, the series is done and over, and Fnatic goes on to the finals. We still will see Na'Vi play for that third place match against Dignitas. But the finals, which will be up against Mouse Sports, is what both players really want to make. So in the upper right-hand location, the man who needs to win this to keep his team in the game, we have Na'Vi's Minato as a yellow Zerg on Yansu. His opponent, one map away from closing out this match in favor of Fnatic. We have the red Terran, Naama. So, Naama did again go for Command Center first. No, sorry, my mind's dumb. He went for, it looks like it was a gasless expansion, based on the amount of gas he has. Yeah, it was a one barracks, then orbital, then Command Center, then probably double gas at the same time, I'm guessing. Yeah, double gas at the same time. So, basically a one barracks expansion. And he's drawing Marines out to the Watchtower. That's kind of cool. He's hoping to catch an Overlord or maybe some Zergians off guard. Meanwhile, his opponent, of course, went hatchery first, as all good Zergs do. Going up to 4 queens here. So delaying the gas a little bit, no super fast speedings, but getting 4 queens out so he can really get a jump start on that creep spread. The creep spread is very important in this map because if you look at this, it's hard for Zerg to kill the rock super early, right? Because they have a lot of armor. They have 3 armor and a queen to ground. In theory, a queen does 8 damage per second to ground, which isn't bad. But the 8 damage per second is off attacking twice a second with 4 damage each. And if your base damage is 4, you're fighting a thing with 3 armor. All of a sudden, 3/4 of your damage goes away. So queens and Zerglings both bad at killing rocks. So when Zerg wants to take a third base on this map, if they take it here, right? They have to spread creep all the way down here and all the way up here to connect their bases via creep. If they want to take the third base here, sorry, we just see just a little bit of a Zergling try to scout there. If they try to take the third base here, they have to spread it all the way down to here from here, right? So that's why you saw the 4 queens early. I mean, you see it in other maps too. It's a pretty popular opening, but on this map especially, creep spread is really important to get early on in the game. And we've seen a very quick lair actually. So not going, fast 3-base, double evo, upgraded units. No, he's going straight for lair. So that could be, I mean, there could be a couple things. Often it's fast mutas is probably the most common build with fast lair. We'll have to wait and see what Minato goes for. Meanwhile, Naama behind his fast expansion himself, he's going for siege tanks, and he's not going mech this game. In fact, going to crank out a bunch of Marines. Getting a single siege tank, I think it's weird. It's not, Normally people get 1 siege tank to be safer against Zerg busting them, but the weird thing is that if you're going 3 barracks before 3rd CC, right? He hasn't even started any upgrades yet. He hasn't started 3rd CC yet. So Naama is not being greedy at all. So he doesn't need his tank to be safe. Like his Marine production makes him safe. I mean, he doesn't actually need a tank to be safe. So it's a little bit interesting they got the tank exposed to the Widow Mines, given how much he's going for, like 2 base power build and not a fast 3rd base. We'll have to see how this plays out because, I mean, you can use tanks in your army, they're great, but typically people prefer Widow Mines. But we may see like a very just hardcore, 2 base Marine tank medevac push. It might try to be timed so that like combat shields will finish when he gets to the Zerg base. Or like maybe he'll be halfway done when he gets here and then he can clear creep and then by the time he actually really engages it'll be done. I assume we're going to see combat shields right after stim pack. Maybe do some drop play before the big push. I mean, the fact there's no 3rd command center means Naama really wants to do some of a 2-base pressure. So early on he may do some drop play, but this actually worked really well for Minato. Minato was getting mutas a lot faster than Naama expects, right? He doesn't know the exact time of the mutas. Seeing the late 3rd maybe gives him an idea of that it could be fast mutas, but if he gets these medevacs stuck, I guess he can always just back up and land the Marines here. losing like a medevac full of units is never great, but it's not always like terrible. If you're going for 2-base timing, oh man, look at this. Muta's taking out both medevacs. Naama getting just cleaned up there. Wow. And Minato has a huge lead now. Because, like I was saying before, losing medevacs is always bad. But it's worse if you're going for 2-base timing. Because then, every single unit is so important. If you're playing a macro game, you can just play a little more defensively and you can recover, right? But Naama's now stuck in a place where he's like, should he still go for this Marine tank timing? He's going to have substantially less units. And, like, can it work at this point, right? Should he just start a 3rd base and give up his 2-base timing plan? It's very tough to tell. It may even be too late to give up a 3rd base. We'll have to wait and see. Minato, of course, I think he hasn't spotted. Oh, SCV's dodging the mutas or trying to get out of there. You know, he's been harassing. He hasn't spotted 3rd base. He's got creep over here. He's been poking in around this area. He hasn't seen any command center. There's not really room to build one back here. So he must know that Naama's only on 2 bases. So what's his reaction to that? His reaction is actually getting, he got a few roaches and getting roach speed. Huh. So maybe he's saying, okay, you're going to do 2-base timing to me. I'm just going to get a bunch of roaches and speed baitings, because that's what's good against 2-base timing. I wouldn't be surprised to see him stop getting mutas after, you know, these 4 more. He might just totally go cold turkey on the mutas. We know Naama is just still just hanging out on 2 bases, getting more siege tanks, but how long can you hang out on 2 bases before you get too far behind? Okay, he decides the time is now. Combat shield's done. +1 weapon's halfway done. Meanwhile, Minato sees this coming. He's cranking out some roaches. A lot of baitings as well. He's got to be careful. He does not want to lose these tanks. These are very important. Without the tanks, the speed baitings will just run all over the Marines. Look at that creep spread. That's actually really impressive. This is going to be very difficult to push with all this creep here. He might want to start leapfrogging these tanks pretty soon now. He's getting very deep on the creep. Oh no, caught out of siege mode. Didn't leapfrog enough. Here come the baitings. The tanks are on siege. Baitings get massive connections and everything's cleaned up there in a heartbeat. Devastating win for Minato there. Evening it up 1-1. We're going to go on to game 3 in a bit. And one thing I want to point out real quick is it's easy to say, oh, what's Naama doing? He charged way into creep. He should have played a little slower. Well, he was on 2 bases. Like, with creep that far out, if he tried to slow push it, it would take him like 2 minutes before he got to his, like, anywhere he could actually damage his opponent. And by then, you know, Minato would have been like maxed with all the upgrades and he would have been perfect, right? So I think Naama felt he had to take a risk, and the risk was like just running on the creep and hoping he could get up and siege up before the Zerg could invade him. But Minato was on his game. He saw that Naama was trying to just blitzkrieg into a good position and attack him before he could get there. And siege tanks in on siege mode against the speed baitings, it was over before it began. Anyways, we're going to get into game 3 between Minato and Naama in just a minute.